Even though some of the new bosses are definitely making Anomaly feel a little bit bad, they are still stronger units, and if you want to have an account that can deal with all the endgame content, you want to have different types of units on your team. Attackers, Rupture Agents, and Anomaly as well. And lucky for you, Vivian is getting a rerun right now, and that's exactly what we're going to talk about in this video. Because in this quick Vivian guide, you're going to learn how to build her, how to play her, and also some team options for you, even if you are free to play or you have some other interesting units on your account. So let's start with a quick overview of the agent. Vivian is, so far, the best anomaly sub DPS in the game. She's going to stay outside of the field and still interact with the enemy anomalies, deal damage, and build up, all thanks to interactions with your other squad members. When they use EX specials, she's going to consume some of her resources, the feathers that you can see right below her portrait, to deal damage, build up, and interact with the enemy anomalies as well. This means that if you want to get the best out of Vivian, you definitely want to have another anomaly on your squad. Which also means that if you don't have any anomaly unit that you actually like to play, then Vivian's not going to provide a lot of value by herself. You need to play with another anomaly unit if you want to get the best out of your Vivian. But she's super flexible and she works with everyone. And now you're probably thinking, okay, but how she deals damage even when outside of the field? This is all thanks to her basic attack, Feather Bloom. This one happens whenever any member on your squad uses an EX special, including Vivian herself. If she uses an EX special, she's going to consume one guard feather to use this attack, which deals damage, build up, and also interacts with her core skill. This is the most important part, the fact that it interacts with her core skill. Because the core skill says that whenever Feather Bloom hits an enemy that is under an anomaly, Feather Bloom is going to trigger a bloom, which is basically just extra anomaly damage. That scales on Vivian anomaly proficiency and the original anomaly damage. So basically, let's say, for example, you're playing Jane and Vivian, and Jane deals a critical assault that deals 1 million damage. Then your Vivian Bloom is going to scale on top of this 1 million assault damage. Yes, the critical assault. Everything that targets anomaly damage, a Vivian Bloom is going to benefit from this as well. On top of this, if you activate her additional ability, you can also trigger extra Feather Blooms whenever any other squad member that is not Vivian triggers an anomaly on the enemy. And activating the additional ability is super easy because it only requires an anomaly or other ether unit on your team. So as I said, you want to play with another anomaly agent on your team, so you're pretty much always going to activate Vivian additional ability. And now you're probably thinking, okay, but you mentioned something like guard feather. What exactly are feathers? Feathers are these things that you can see below your portrait, and you can generate them with a lot of different ways. Okay, your basic attack 5 can generate feathers, your assist follow-up, your EX special, chain attack, ultimate, all these skills, they generate feathers for you. Flight feathers, because there are two different feathers. Flight feathers has only one use, become guard feathers, and guard feathers is the one that you actually need to use to trigger the bloom. Sounds a little bit complicated, but it's actually that simple. You just need to use the diving attack, this one that you see right here. So basically, you just enter in the flying mode, swap away, or do a basic attack, and Vivian is going to use this diving attack that transforms all your flight feathers into guard feathers to trigger more blooms and deal more damage. And how you enter this flying mode? Pretty much every single skill that can generate feather for you also puts you on the flying mode, the fluttering frog state. Okay, so now that you understand how Feather works, how she deals damage from outfield, how to generate and also make these flight feathers into guard feathers, you probably see how simple Vivian kit actually is. It's not that hard, the gameplay is super simple. Actually, most of the time, you're just going to generate feathers by using defensive assist, or if you're using Astra, a lot of quick assist into base attack 5. Of course, if you have energy available, you use an EX special sometimes. If the enemy is stunned, you do a chain attack, or even your ultimate if you have enough decibels. Your ultimate generates 5 feathers, so either you want to use it once you are out of feathers, or you just want a huge build up on the enemy to trigger a disorder or something. And that's it, that's the gameplay. You're usually going to be playing someone else instead of Vivian on the field, because Vivian deals damage by being outside of the field and interacting with your other units, EX special, and anomaly triggers as well. It's that simple. When it comes to upgrading the skills, the core skill is going to be your top priority since this increases the damage of your balloons. You'll definitely want to level this one as fast as possible to make sure that you're always going to deal as much damage as you can with these feathers. Outside of this, honestly, you don't need to level up most of the skills in case you are saving resources, you don't have spare Denny's, ether chips, you don't need to level up her skills because honestly, you're not losing that much damage because the anomaly damage don't scales on the skill level. But in case you have the resources, basics and assists are my top recommendations because of the extra days and some of the damage on your feather balloons that are basic attacks. Then EX special and ultimates for even more damage, and you can leave dodges as your last priority. And now let's talk about builds, and starting with this set, I'm going straight to the point. The 4-piece set, there's only one option for you. Fatal Melody 4-piece. There's nothing much to talk about here, it just synergizes really well with Vivian, it gives you Anomaly Mastery, Anomaly Proficiency, and Ether damage, and it's pretty much always going to be active because if you have another member on your team, they're probably going to use EX Special to interact with Vivian, so you have this effect available on Vivian with 100% uptime. For the 2-piece set, you should look for Freedom Blues 2-piece or Chaos Jet since these gives you extra Anomaly Proficiency, and since Vivian balloon damage scales on Anomaly Proficiency, the best thing you can do is stack a lot of anomaly proficiency on her. You increase the damage of corruption, you also increase the damage of the bloom, so it's a win-win situation. Now for disc stats, disc 4, anomaly proficiency. There's no other option here, no reason for you to go into attack, just go for anomaly proficiency. Disc 5 is going to be damage, but if you have really good penetration or attack disc with a lot of anomaly proficiency, you can definitely use these. Focus on the substats anomaly proficiency rolls instead of just the damage or penetration or attack. And for disc 6, is going to be Anomaly Mastery. Attack definitely increases the damage of Vivian Corruption, however, it makes them happen slower. This could mean that you're losing damage on these disorders, so no reason for you to not run Anomaly Mastery, especially with the increased build-up on some enemies on Deadly Assault. It's just better for you to use Anomaly Mastery. As for substats, by this point, you probably already know what you're going to say. Yes, Anomaly Proficiency is your top priority, follow up by attack percentage, attack, and penetration. That's all. Crit stats, they are not going to increase Vivian damage that much. She's an anomaly unit after all, so this is your priority when it comes to substats. And when it comes to weapons, Flight Offensive, Vivian Signature is going to be the best option for her because it provides a lot of extra anomaly build-up and also a lot of anomaly proficiency, and this is exactly what Vivian wants. At phase 1, this is 40% anomaly build-up and a total of 210 anomaly proficiency as well. But we have a really amazing free-to-play option that is Whipping Gemini because it's a lot of anomaly proficiency, and as I said, Vivian scales really well with anomaly proficiency. While the damage difference looks pretty huge for Vivian herself, when you compare this to the whole team damage, especially because Vivian is triggering extra blooms for your team, the damage difference is not that huge. But I want to point out that some enemies are getting increased build-up, and this means that the extra build-up from Flight Offensive could be a higher DPS increase that I'm showcasing right here, as slower build-up means less disorders or lower damage disorders. And now let's talk about Mindscapes because these are really good and some of these are really interesting. Mindscape 1 gives you extra feathers and also increases anomaly damage and disorder damage. Remember that this is also going to increase the bloom damage as well. So not only you get extra anomaly damage, your corruption damage, your other unit anomaly damage as well, you also get extra damage on all of the blooms that Vivian are going to deal. So it's a really good Mindscapes for you to get, gives you a lot of extra damage, but not as much as Mindscape 2, because Mindscape 2 increases Vivian anomaly buildup, but on top of this, it also increases the anomaly proficiency scaling of your blooms by 30%. Not to mention that it also makes a bloom to ignore 15% of the enemy attribute resistance. So this is an insanely good Mindscapes. It adds a lot of damage to Vivian and all the team as well. And well, from Mindscape 4 onward, things start to become a little bit weird, I would say, because Mindscape 4 makes your Feather Bloom to always deal critical damage, but Vivian is stacking another proficiency, not attack, so it's a little bit weird. But at the very least, you get an attack buff, and this definitely increases your corruption damage. It's okay. And finally, Mindscape 6 increases Vivian ether damage by 40%, and on top of this, it also adds a huge burst damage on Vivian, because whenever you use the Fluttering Frog suspension, the diving attack, Vivian is going to trigger a special bloom where the damage is multiplied by the number of guard feathers. So basically this means that you kind of need to save your feathers for this in order to hit the enemy with massive numbers. But if you're saving feathers, this means that you're not triggering a blooms, which also means somewhat DPS loss. It's a really funny Mindscape, okay? Looking at the huge damage on your screen, it's really funny, but I wouldn't say it's a massive damage increase, okay? Because at the end, you still need to generate feathers. So unless you have a lot of spare feathers, I would not say that this actually adds a lot of damage for you. Finally, let's talk about some teams, and I'm going to start up with a free-to-play team, the one that you're looking at the gameplay at the background. This is an amazing free-to-play option. Piper, Vivian, and any support unit. Of course, the best one is definitely going to be Yuzuha as of now, but you can still go for Astra, you can go for any support unit you can think about. It just works. The reason why it just works is because Piper has extra EX specials on her kit. The downward attack, the finishing move of her EX special, also counts as another EX special, which means Piper can trigger a lot of blooms. And the fact that Piper is just basically a disorder machine, she wants to be played on top of disorders, Vivian and Piper makes an amazing team, especially for free-to-play players. But you can definitely upgrade this a little bit, and as I said, Vivian is super flexible. You can replace Piper with any other anomaly unit that you can think about. Jane is amazing because, as I mentioned, Vivian a bloom can scale on top of Jane critical assaults. Alice, the polarized assaults, also trigger extra blooms, so you have another source of blooms on the enemy. Miyabi can definitely make use of someone that is going to provide extra build-up even when outside of the field to get these extra charges and more basic attacks. For the support unit, Yuzuha is of course going to be one of the best options because of all the buffs for anomaly units she's going to provide, but Astra also works really well here, since Astra gives you a quick assist, which allows Vivian to consistently use her quick assist and generate more feathers, use more diving attacks on the enemy, and not to mention that whenever you use a quick assist, thanks to Astra, it counts an EX special. So you're also consuming more feathers, triggering more blooms, so it's really good. But any other support unit works here. You can use Nicole, you can use Lucy, it just depends on what you have available. The main important thing that you need to keep in mind is Vivian with another anomaly unit. The third slot is really flexible, and it just depends on the options that you have available on your account. And that should be everything for my Vivian guide. She's still an amazing unit, and if you need a good foundation for anomaly units, Vivian's right here. She's super flexible, she works everywhere. She can help you deal with anomaly content if you don't have a lot of anomaly units on your team, so she's just amazing. Anyway, if this guide helped you, remember to give it a like and subscribe to the channel if you're looking for more ZZZ content. And if you still have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments down below or join my Discord server. Thank you so much for watching this video. Have a good day, good night, wherever you are. Let's see you next time. Bye bye.